Hello and welcome to another Thursday at 4 PM, which means it's time for the Etch Play Weekly Live Show. I am your host this week. My name is Adam Burt, and I'm joined for this first part of the show by the man with the plan. It's Dan Thomas.
Hello, how are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Yes, I'm very good, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to be here as well, and I hope that the audio is working. We had some issues during the pre-show, so people couldn't hear me, but hopefully you can hear me now. Here's what's coming up on today's show. As usual, we've got all the latest games industry news, which we'll go through with Dan in just a second. We've got some really interesting stories to talk about. After that, we're going to be playing some Wolfenstein The New Order. That's also with me and Dan. We checked that out on Game Pass. That's a pre-recorded segment. And then stick around for later on in the show when Ben Joy will be here to talk about the power of Twitch drops, which is a topic which is close to us at the minute, I guess you could say. Something we've been showing a keen interest in recently. Who have we got in the chat? Hello to Law Is. Hello to Experimental Space. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. If you want to shout out in the chat, let us know. Dan, are you ready for some news?
I think we should do it.
Cool. Well, let's get straight on with it then, shall we? First up, we're talking about E3. This is the Electronic Entertainment Expo, or I think they've actually renamed it now, the Electronic Entertainment Experience. Because it's confirmed to be going all digital and it will be completely free to consumers. So we knew there was going to be a big digital component this year. It was cancelled last year due to COVID. And we knew that, internet would be the focus this year, but we were expecting there to both be a physical event and there to be some kind of purchase for consumers to buy into this process, to pay to see these exclusive game streams. The ESA, who run the show, have now come out and said that's not the case, and this is what some people were expecting anyway, but we now know some of the exhibitors as well, so this will include Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two, and Warner Brothers. And there are some notable absentees, including Sony and EA, who both withdrew from E3 in recent years, Activision Blizzard, who do their own thing, Sega, Bandai Namco, and Square Enix as well, who have been at E3 in recent years. E3 still exists. Who knew?
Yes.
Do you think E3 is going to be big this year, Dan? Do you think this is going to go well?
It will be good. There's quite the hemorrhaging of centre stage participants continues, which is not a good trend. Obviously, people started to drop out a few years ago, and obviously the pandemic hasn't helped matters. I'd like there to be some big exciting announcements, and I'd like to see E3 continue. But do
you want to make a prediction for an announcement that will be at E3? Getting it in early as well, because we're months away.
Well, so we got Nintendo. Where are we at with the Switch? The next Switch
could be a new Switch. Those rumours keep swirling.
Nintendo don't need to announce that at E3. Nintendo could drop a new Mario skin.
What about Breath of the Wild 2?
Breath of the Wild 2. That would be. We're due an update on that. So I think that's a good candidate. Yeah. Xbox. Who have Xbox bought recently?
Anyone? Yeah. I think their name starts with a B. The chance of there not being Bethesda games in that show are slim to none, I have to imagine. Hopefully we'll get to see some Starfield, which is supposed to be coming at some point in the next couple of years. And obviously they'll be showing off Halo Infinite and hopefully getting a better reception than they got last year when they showed off Halo Infinite.
It would be nice to see a big Halo announce of some sort, big demo of new and exciting visuals there would be good.
Get the orchestra out, get them playing the theme tune. That's all you need.
That's all we need.
Hello in the chat to Peter and Fritz Brawny and Tony. Hi, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in today. And the news continues with, this is exciting. If you own a copy of Super Mario Brothers, be prepared to check it, because Super Mario Brothers, one of the oldest copies currently in circulation, has broken the record for the most expensive video game ever sold. And this was sold for $660,000 at auction. And the reason for its big price tag, so this is what you need to check for in your own copies of Super Mario Brothers, is really rare packaging. So on the back of the case, which was exclusive to the 4th version of Super Mario Bros. Produced, there was like a cardboard tab as well as a plastic shrink wrap. And if you've got that, your Super Mario Bros. Copy, still sealed, is worth a lot of money. The previous record was set last November when an unopened copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 went for $156,000. And yeah, do you own a copy, Dan? Have you got one around somewhere you're going to go and check?
I wish I did. Yeah, that's a substantial amount of money for what would have been a 50 quid, 40 quid game back in the day. So good return on investment for whoever sold that one.
Apparently, in the early days, the versions, like when they first sent Super Mario Bros. To stores, they were refining the packaging constantly, like basically every week. So you can really tell the exact time frame of a Super Mario Bros. Copy by its original packaging. And they're saying this is from the 4th iteration, so that's early. That's one of the first versions, one of the first copies.
Do we know anything about who sold or who bought it?
I don't know anything about who bought it or who sold it. I imagine they probably want to keep that anonymous. People who make a lot of money, they shouldn't tell people. That's like a rookie mistake. When you win the lottery, don't go and pose with the big check. You should keep it very quiet.
Do you think they're going to keep it sealed? How tempting would that be?
I mean, it's going to be worth even more money in a while, right? Give it 10 years, it's going to be worth even more money than it currently is.
Impressive.
I realised that during that segment I forgot to switch the video background, so everyone's just looking at E3 when they should have been looking at footage of Super Mario Bros. For the NES. But let's move on to our last bit of news for the day, and this is really strange news. Kind of came out of left field, which is that MLB The Show, which is a baseball-themed game developed by PlayStation Studios, who are owned by Sony, obviously, is coming to Xbox, and not just coming to Xbox, it's going to be on Game Pass. So if you are an MLB fan who is maybe stuck with the PlayStation brand because you love this franchise, you might be a bit miffed this week to find out that Xbox users are getting this game for no additional cost on their subscription, whereas you're going to have to pay full retail price for it. The series of baseball games that was currently running, the Show series, started in 2006 and has always been exclusive to PlayStation platforms until now, going back to the original game on PlayStation 2 and PSP. We did know that MLB wanted to go cross-platform. We knew that the license holder wanted to expand their horizons and be on more platforms, but it's the Game Pass aspect of this that's really got people talking. What do you make of this, Dan?
I think it's brilliant. I think the more sort of cross-pollination. I'm not averse. I'm not averse to platform exclusives, but it's nice to see things branching out, reaching new audiences. What's really interesting is the evolution of Game Pass and the cloud streaming services that are coming, and there's a recent focus on bringing Game Pass to mobile, like streaming your console experiences to your mobile, which opens up such a huge new array of audience. For essentially, we're saying a typically PlayStation exclusive game could soon be playable by everybody with a smartphone, which is quite exciting, I think.
Yeah, definitely good for consumers. I just think, I'm sure money changed hands, but why would PlayStation not at least put it on PlayStation Plus, just so there's a bit of parity there? It just makes them look stupid.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess Game Pass seems to have got their onboarding process down now. Games are coming out so quickly on it, and maybe there's just a little bit more friction in the processes at PlayStation at the moment. But they'll catch up, and they do still reign supreme on the platform exclusive. So they perhaps aren't as pressured to be as agile as Microsoft and Game Pass. So
yeah, do you think we see any other PlayStation games come to Game Pass in the years to come?
It would be great. I'm trying to think of. I'm guessing so. MLB was a third-party studio. I'm assuming.
Well, it was PlayStation Studios, so it was about as in-house.
Oh, it was PlayStation Studios.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, I guess anything could.
Anything.
Maybe...
God of War coming to Game Pass. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Announce it at E3.
Last of Us, get it on there.
Yeah.
That would be a power move from PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the most played game on Game Pass becomes a PlayStation title. That would be interesting.
I think the unique thing about this scenario, and the only reason why it's probably happened in the short term, is that pressure from the MLB. Like MLB are like, we want to be everywhere. FIFA's everywhere, Madden's everywhere. Why are we not everywhere? So it's not exactly unprompted, but yeah, fascinating all the same. And of course, with Xbox buying Bethesda, we also have Deathloop coming out later this year, which is an Xbox published game now, coming to PlayStation exclusively.
Yes,
So everyone's sharing, everyone's passing the games around.
It's
the way
lovely.
it should be. That brings us to the end of the news for today's show. We're going to switch to a pre-recorded segment so I can play with some things behind the scenes. This is a clip of myself and Dan, actually, checking out Wolfenstein: The New Order, which was recently added to Game Pass as part of the Bethesda Xbox deal. It's about 10 minutes of gameplay, so enjoy that. And when we come back, we'll be talking to Ben Joy about the power of Twitch drops. So don't go anywhere. See you soon. Hi, my name is Adam Burt, and I'm joined today by Dan Thomas. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
How's
How
it
we
going?
doing?
It's good. We both talked over each other there. I
Classic.
think by now we'd be pros at doing videos.
I don't think anybody thinks that.
We're checking out Wolfenstein: The New Order. This is by Machine Games, part of the illustrious, I guess you'd say, Wolfenstein franchise, which dates back many, many years.
Wolfenstein is as old as I am. The first Wolfenstein game,
wow.
Castle Wolfenstein, was from 1981.
Okay, anyone good at maths in the chat can figure out exactly how old Dan is. First one to say it gets a prize. Oh, that's a lie, there's no prize. But yeah, this is recently been added to Game Pass as part of the Xbox Bethesda deal. So along with the Dooms, the Skyrims, the Arcane stuff, you've also got Wolfenstein now on Game Pass. There's a few of them on there. This is actually one of the fan favourites from a few years ago. And yeah, it's a good time if you like shooting Nazis. If you like old school first-person shooters, I'd say. It definitely has that old school feel in terms of the way that it plays. And we're jumping into the beginning here a bit. I'm going to jump around a little bit, but we're basically checking out the beginning level of the game, which is quite long. Dan, have you played Wolfenstein before? Are you a Wolfenstein fan?
I haven't actually played it, but I'd consider myself a Wolfenstein fan. Weirdly,
Well, you're just a fan of the
I like the fact that it exists. I like the fact that Wolfenstein 3D was kind of the precursor to Doom, which I absolutely love. But it's never reached my screen to actually play it. But now this is on Game Pass, I might check this out. Quite a strong narrative game, as I understand it.
Definitely, these new ones are, yeah. And they've got this sort of. It depends on your tolerance for this, I guess. It's like a World War II alternate history, where basically the question is, what if the Nazis got really, really invested in mad science? So there's a lot of almost science fiction, I guess, concepts in here. And the Nazis have a lot of robotics, a lot of advanced weaponry that they didn't really have in World War II. If you're looking for accuracy, this is maybe not the game for you. But if you like shooting Nazis and you like alternate histories, then yeah, this might well be right up your street. I do think, Dan, I think this would suit you, like not because you have shown fondness for the genre, but because of the old school kind of. It's just the way it's put together. Like it's a mix of modern and old, which I think is it kind of triggered nostalgia in me, even though I haven't really played much of the old ones.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks like the sort of game I'd enjoy.
You'll see a couple times in the video there are some elaborate stealth mechanics which I completely ignored because I refuse to be stealthy.
You're not a fan of stealth games, are you?
I'm not a fan. But there's situations where you can take out guards silently, you can avoid alarms being tripped, you can peek around, underneath doors and stuff. Whereas I'm very much like, what if I just got out 2 machine guns and shot them in the face?
It's a reliable tactic.
Exactly. I mean, that's the power fantasy that I want to have. I know some people like to snap necks and sneak around in the dark, but that's not me. The levels are quite open, surprisingly open. You get this kind of map to help you around, and pretty much just a character will usually tell you go somewhere and do something, like go find all the bunkers and clear them, which is pretty much what we're doing here. There's a half-robot Nazi dog. Completely historically accurate, I'm sure you'll agree.
Bad dog.
I probably should have mentioned at the top of this video, actually, there is some choice language in this game as well, which I maybe should have edited out, but it's too late now. Can't edit the video after the fact. That would be too much effort.
If only they would invent a way of editing videos, hey?
Yeah, you can really see my run and gun style, although I am stopping to pick up the everyone
More
drops
bullets.
armour. More bullets, but also there's lots of armour, so the kind of classic first-person shooter trapping of like it not being just everything regenerates all the time. You have to actually find med packs and armour to give yourself a little bit of shielding.
Here we are with the dual wield. Love a bit of dual wielding.
I put this in especially for you because I knew
Thanks.
that you're a dual wielding fanatic, and this would sell you on the game. The idea that you could dual wield 2 machine guns, which in most games would be 2-handers.
Yeah, but when you're tough,
Yeah, exactly.
it's very much that kind of 80s 90s action movie
Totally.
thing, isn't it?
The lead character is called BJ Blazkowicz, and you see him a couple of times in cutscenes. I think he's been given a bit more to do in this than in some of the classic games. He's not just a meathead who runs around shooting people. He's got a bit of a storyline, a bit of a personality, I would even say.
Oh wow!
But his personality is that he's extremely stoic and maybe is a bit damaged, but nowhere near as much as he should be based on all the things that have happened to him in his life.
Right. Relatable.
Yeah. Don't know about you, but I'm extremely tough. There was a stealth kill I just did there against
Nice.
this gunner. And yeah, you can see some of the machinery out there on the battlefield that the
Yeah, that's not very World War II, is
they
it?
might have taken some liberties with the historical accuracy there. I think that's fun though. I think it's more fun. I do like a Call of Duty where it's like, you know, real or supposedly real battles, but there is something fun about playing with history as well.
Can't move this beam from our position. We're trapped up here, Blazkowicz. See if you can remove this beam.
Machine Games are also believed, in fact I think they've officially announced this now, to be working on the new Indiana Jones game that they are building at Bethesda. So they have a strong pedigree with alternate history, with Nazis.
Yep.
Go to church every Sunday?
Yeah, what, you ain't got churches in England? You ain't got no priests there?
Yeah. Well, the Nazis sort of bombing them at the moment, so it's a bit of a problem.
Anglo-US dialogue there.
Yeah, I mean the dialogue is not going to be for everyone. I think, and I think actually the tone isn't going to be for everyone. You might have seen at the beginning of the video we kind of skipped over it because it was quite quick. But the difficulty screen, the easy mode is called "Don't Hurt Me, Daddy," and shows the character with a baby's bonnet and a dummy in his mouth. So that gives you the idea of the kind of
Highbrow.
the kind of humour that the developers have put in the game. So in this mission, what we're actually trying to do is we're hunting a Nazi scientist called Death's Head. We're breaking into his compound, and he's been doing some pretty messed up stuff, which I mean you can kind of see from where we've ended up. It's pretty grim.
Yeah. Oh my. Somebody enjoying their lunch.
Yeah, I hope you're not eating.
So I believe this is the 9th Wolfenstein game in the series.
Yeah. And who's to say if we'll get another one? I mean, you'd like to think now that as part of Xbox, everyone at Bethesda would be working on new versions of everything to pump out some brand new Game Pass games for everyone. But there's only so many hours in the day, I guess. And I don't think these Wolfenstein sold that well. I think it's actually quite nice that they are getting this second lease of life on Game Pass.
Yeah. And Game Pass is doing that quite a lot. Is offering a new audiences to people who may not have wanted to commit when it was a a retail priced game, but they're giving games like this, that extra audience, which might help the future of the franchise.
Yeah, I think so. And I know me and you have both talked before about how Game Pass kind of changes the way that you play. This is definitely a game that I probably wouldn't have purchased at retail price, but that being part of Game Pass as part of that big Bethesda drop was a nice little thing to spend a bit of time at a weekend playing.
So this is the New Order, is that right?
Yes, this is Wolfenstein: The New Order. There has, I believe, been a couple of games since then.
Yeah, I think since then there was the Old Blood, the New Colossus, and Young Blood, and a VR Cyber Pilot.
Oh, okay. We've missed a few then. Does this one... Do the other ones have giant robots? I mean, probably.
I suspect so, yeah. I think the one after this is a prequel to this.
Okay.
So I think this was kind of like an alternate universe that they've added a bit of backstory to.
Yeah, I'd run out of ammo at this point, and the ammo's on the floor, but it's quite hard to pick up when you're being chased by a robot.
It's alright, you've got a little knife to fight this beast monster robot with. He doesn't seem very pleased with you.
No, he's not. So I mean, these enemies have a mechanic where their face masks come off and you have to shoot them in the face, which, to be honest, I thought I was doing a good job of, but clearly I'm not.
You do know his face is at the top of his body, yeah?
It's hard.
Yeah, that's better.
There we go. It was the dual wielding you needed. That was the secret.
Yeah, that was it. That was the key.
Everybody still breathing?
Some ammo back.
That door open. I rather fancy breathing the monster up.
It won't open from this side. Hold on. I can hear someone out there. Someone's coming.
Do you think that future Bethesda titles, at time of recording, are they going to be Game Pass exclusives, do you think?
I think yes, but not confidently. It just seems like Game Pass is just on such a roll at the moment. It seems just like they want to keep that momentum. Bethesda do such high pedigree titles, such big brands.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a much deliberated discussion happening in the Microsoft Bethesda towers.
That guy there was Death's Head, the Nazi scientist who just grinned as he crushed me. But I didn't die, I just passed out, which means the game can continue. We're about to get into some gruesome torture scenes, so maybe what we'll do is throw back to the studio.
Sounds apt.
Thanks very much for watching. I've been Adam Burt, and he has been Dan Thomas. Say thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Very clever. And we'll see you again on a future Etch Play video. Bye.
Cheers.
And we are back. You are watching the Etch Play weekly live show, the best place for all the latest industry games news and discussion. I'm joined by Ben Joy. Hi, Ben. How's it going?
Hello. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good. And you are here to talk about Twitch drops, which is
I am here to talk.
An exciting topic. It's not one we've actually covered before. It is a little bit close to us at the minute. We've been thinking about it a lot recently. And I guess maybe for the folks at home who don't know, can you start with a summary of what Twitch drops are? Like, what are Twitch drops?
Yes, so Twitch drops at its simplest is something that a game developer enables for its game. For streamers, you can either select specific streamers or allow it for all streamers to sign up for, or kind of a mix of the both, open it to everyone else and give specific stuff to specific streamers. And basically, me and you wanted to be involved as viewers of Twitch, we would go to Twitch, find a game that we play, then that we own. We connect our account to Twitch with our game, and the longer we watch the stream, the more rewards we earn in a game, and that's dictated by the developer. So when you sign up, obviously they'll often tell you what you can earn for the length of time that you watch. For example, if you watch for 15 minutes, you'll get X item. If you watch for an hour, you'll get X item. Typically, the way it works is the more you watch, the more you earn, and the better items that you earn. So it's a way for players to watch their favorite games and earn rewards for free in the game.
Yeah, and I guess the aim is to drive Twitch engagement, which we know can be really big business for games, to have a Twitch following, to build a community on Twitch that is regularly engaged with the game. I mean, they become advocates for your game, but they also become bigger spenders typically on the game if they're invested for a long period of time, if you have monetization in the game. And what are the kind of benefits, I guess, that you can expect out of a more highly engaged Twitch community?
So it's twofold benefits. So I guess the first one is to try and bring lapsed players back to the game. So if you played a game, put it down for a while, and then all of a sudden something like Twitch Drops comes along, and you can, by not doing anything, you can earn extra things in the game. It's an incentive to watch the game being played and get back into it. So it's bringing those lapsed players back, and then potentially players who are on the fence or maybe haven't heard about your game. So if you're on the fence and then it's like, oh, if I buy this game now or get this game, I can reap the rewards and get these benefits myself. Or if you've just never heard of a game before, with the bigger games, that's not as likely. But with smaller games, if you see a streamer that you watch play a game because they've been incentivized to play it via the drops scheme, you might think, oh, I'm going to pick that up because we know that consumers put a lot of investment into streamers with their time, and a lot of that is because they see these people as authorities and take things as it's a good recommendation tool. If a person that you follow and respect as a streamer plays a game and is advocating for it, you're more likely to want to play it. And another benefit outside of that is we know that 49% of 18 to 34-year-olds who play games are more likely to play a game if they feel part of a community. And Twitch is a great place for a community to foster. If you're watching a stream with hundreds, thousands of other people, you're there. That's a community. That's a community right there that you're getting involved in. So it can if you don't have a community, it can help kickstart a community. Or if you already have a strong community, like a lot of these games that do it have, which helps them get a lot of attention. It can help bring more people into it and help sustain the community and really give something back to your players, which is really important as well. It's not just about trying to bring new people in or get people back playing. That's a big part of it, but also it's to reward your loyal fans who play your game and watch your game on Twitch as well. It's giving something back, and it fosters goodwill, and it just shows that the developer cares about their existing players as well. Yeah.
And you mentioned that a few studios are doing this, probably some that people have heard of. I mean, who are the kind of big players in the minute in Twitch Drops? Who's doing it well? Who should people be checking out in terms of successful campaigns?
So Rust did kind of rocketed at the start of the year. They did their first drops in January, and when they did it, so they were starting from a pretty good base on Twitch anyway. It was a pretty well streamed game. It kind of wasn't out of nowhere. But they did Twitch Drops. Their first one's in January. They've got one running now, which is their 7th round. So they're keeping going with it. And in January, their hours watched went up by 891%, which gives you a bit of a flavor for like how impactful this was being. They were starting from a big base, so that actually took them up to like 190 million hours watched in January for the whole month. And as I said, they've done that consistently, so they're obviously seeing that that's working for them, and they want to keep it up to maintain those streamer numbers. They're still kicking around in the top 10 most streamed games. Most recently, and as you alluded to at the start, which is kind of why we're talking about it this week, is No Man's Sky just did it, and we helped them with some of that side of it, and they did phenomenally well. It was their first Twitch Drops campaign, and some of the stats, which thanks to Sully Gnome, which is where I've got these from. So if you want Twitch stats, check that site out. It's really, really helpful. But so yeah, I said in January, Rust increased their viewer hours by 891% for the time that No Man's Sky ran their campaign over the bank holiday weekend. They went up by 3,764% of hours watched, which is huge. They rocketed from not being that much of a streamed game into the top 50 most streamed games over that period, which is a huge jump, and that just shows you the impact it can have. Like, you don't have to be starting from being in the top 10 of Twitch to have an impact. You can make a big impact from anywhere, really. So so just some other stats with the No Man's Sky one. The hours broadcast went up by 230%. The average viewers went up by 3,700%. So these are big jumps for a 5-day run of drops. So there's really big gains to be had. And another interesting one I just wanted to talk about was Valorant. So when Valorant came out last year, I think it was, they engaged in Twitch drops before the game even came out. They did it through a beta, and essentially they reached out to prominent streamers to stream the beta, and the drop essentially was getting people keys to be part of the beta, which then starts the chain reaction of people get a key for the beta, and then they play it, and people can get drops off them, and it grows and grows and grows. And they I don't know whether it's been beaten, but at the time they had the record for the most hours watched in a single day, which was 34 million hours, and that was before the game even released. So that was an interesting one. And I said one more. I've just got one more as well. Escape from Tarkov. They do Twitch drops pretty regularly, and they're quite high now in the Twitch most streamed. And this kind of stat kind of shows the impact. So they ran their first Twitch drops at the end of December 2019. It ran from the 30th of December to the 5th of January, and they got 30 million hours watched in that 5-6 day period. Up until that point in 2019, for the rest of the year, they'd had 60 million hours watched total. So in the space of 5 days, they brought in 50% of what they'd done for the other 360 days of the year. So that's phenomenal, and because they do it consistently, they're still up there around in the top 20, top 30 most streamed games. And as you see, like, they came from 60 million in a year is not to be sneezed at, but then when you do 30 million in the next 5 days, it shows the impact it has, and they're sustaining themselves up there because they're doing it on a consistent basis. And I think that's the key. Like, if you do it all the time, it kind of loses its luster. It's kind of like it's expected, and it's hard to kind of keep that momentum if it's on all of the time. So it's finding that cadence, I guess, of when is the right time to turn it on and off, because you want to be keeping those viewers, because as I mentioned at the beginning, there's lots of benefits to have people watching your game on Twitch. So as I said, Rust is now in its 7th round, and we're the 4th month of the year, so this is the 4th month of they're doing it. So they've done 7 to give you an idea of kind of the cadence that they run.
What about the psychology of what the drops are? Like, do you have any insights to share about like what kind of items really get people excited? I'm guessing these are mostly cosmetic items across these games. And they're specific ways maybe to try and drive further engagement in terms of the stuff that you're offering. Because I guess if you're offering stuff no one wants, then why would they bother?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be enticing, and I think what you want to do kind of psychologically, and I haven't got much data behind it, it's just my opinion of how I think you probably want to go about it. I think early doors, for like a low watch time, you want to give something quite enticing. Obviously not the top tier, because what you don't want people to do is come and watch for 30 minutes and go because they've got something incredible. You want to build it up, but your first item needs to be enough to hook you in, to make you think, oh, I will, even to get the people like, oh yeah, I'm only going to watch 30 minutes, I'll grab that and go. Because once you've got someone in, if you've got engaging streamers, which a lot of them are, that's why they're successful and people watch them, you will stay for longer. And I guess the psychology is the longer you stay, the better it gets. So if you're going to put something in for say 3, 4, 5 hours worth of watching, that needs to be worth it. So yeah, I would say you want to start off with something small but enticing, and then you want to gradually build it up, because you don't want your like 5-hour reward to kind of be like, oh, that wasn't worth waiting. It needs to be better than what you get for watching for 30 minutes to an hour, because you're putting that investment in.
Yeah, it needs to be a bit of a hierarchy, maybe sweeten the deal on the first one.
Yeah.
What about the role of kind of paid media spend? Because I guess it's one thing to launch a Twitch Drops campaign. It's another thing to maybe make people aware that it's happening. Ooh, I just burned slightly during the live show.
All right, no one noticed. Nobody noticed.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So obviously, it's not, and we say this pretty much with everything that we talk about on the live show. They all come in together as part of a bigger marketing push. Nothing is the silver bullet, which is just going to rocket you up. So what you want to do is you need to promote it. Like, you can find Twitch Drops enabled streams. There's a filter on Twitch to find them, but kind of you don't want people to find it that way. Like, you want to promote it, so you need to drive people to do it. And because there are steps you need to take as a viewer, you need to connect your Twitch account, and you need to connect with the game via the platform that you want to receive the drops on, be it Steam, PlayStation, Xbox. So you need to signpost it. So it's there is a bit more to it than just being like, we're going to set up drops and it's just going to work. Yeah, there definitely needs to be some promotion, like on social media. You want to do some paid advertising. If you've got streamers who stream you anyway, you want to get them talking about it. So yeah, it's not just to set it and it's going to change the world. So yeah, there's definitely a role to play. With you really throw me off with the.
I mean, give us a conclusion, Ben. I mean, this show was going so well, and I've totally derailed it. I really apologize. It was. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Give us a conclusion, and we'll throw to credits.
Yeah. So the conclusion is it's a Twitch Drops is a really it's a really powerful tool, and it's not just a powerful tool for the game's developers. There's lots and lots of benefits to making Get Drops available in your game, because as we've said, it builds that community, it gets people playing, it brings people back, it brings in new people. As a player of the game, you get the benefits, and also as a streamer, you can benefit, because if you're a selected streamer, you're then building a relationship with that studio and with that game, and it's also a good chance for kind of your mid-level streamers to kind of take a step to the next level if you're engaged in something like this, especially if you're like with like how Rust blew up, and how we from the numbers said like how No Man's Sky brought in a lot of numbers. If you're kind of a mid-level streamer and you've got all of a sudden you get an influx of people, that's your chance to shine, to take yourself up to the next level, to maybe go from 2,000 viewers to 3,000 viewers. And those are really important streamers for gamers. So it's, which is why at the beginning I mentioned you can do it a few ways. You can give it to specific streamers, all streamers, or a mixture of the both, where you give it to some and select some. It's really important to get more people doing it, because we know the sweet spot is those mid-level streamers with 1,000 to 5,000 viewers. Like, if you get the people who are bringing in millions of viewers, that's great. And I'm not saying don't do that, because it is, they get you a lot of eyeballs. But when you have those kind of micro influencers who have a really engaged, smaller audience, that's when you get better conversions. Like, we know that from the data. So yeah, that's my final takeaway. It's great for everyone. It works for everyone. It's great for the developers. It's great for players, and it helps streamers. So why would you not want to look into investing it? And when you see the success stories of Tarkov and Valorant, No Man's Sky, Rust, it's definitely worth considering doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks very much, Ben, for joining the show. I appreciate your research and company as ever.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
And thanks to you at home for watching. We really appreciate you for tuning in. I know there's a lot of things you could be doing on a Thursday at 4 p.m, such as work or watching something else, maybe. I don't know, Netflix. What's good these days? Fortnite. You could be doing any of that, but you chose to be here with us, so thank you for that. If you liked the show, if you like the news, if you like the gameplay, if you like the discussions, any of it, let us know and follow us with the little button down in the right-hand corner. If you're watching us on Twitch live, it's purple. You can press it right now. You will become a follower, and you'll get notified every time we go live. If you're watching us on YouTube on Catch Up, that's totally cool as well. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and you'll get notified when we post new things there as well. Thank you very much again, and we will see you next Thursday, same place, same time, right here on Twitch at 4 p.m. Say goodbye, Ben.
Bye.
Oh, I forgot to transition away. Hang on. Keep waving.